Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our second grade wax museum. We hope you enjoy our journey through history. Hello, my name is Malala Yousafzai. I was born July 12, 1997 in the Swat Valley of Pakistan. My father was a teacher, and both my mother and father encouraged me to go to school and get an education. I was only 8 when the Taliban came to my valley and said that girls shouldn't be able to go to school. By the time I was 10, I had to hide my books and my uniform on the way to and from school. Some teachers at the school refused to teach girls, and many girls dropped out. My family and I started speaking out about the horrors of life under the Taliban. I began a blog for the BBC, and people warned me to be careful. I had to move to 4 different towns in 2 months because of all of the fighting between the Taliban and the Pakistani army. In 2009, my family returned home and we started rebuilding the town. I continued speaking out and fighting for education. I won a lot of awards because of the speaking out I did. I used the money from my awards to help people in need, which made me a target for the Taliban. One day when I was 15, 2 men from the Taliban shot me on my way home from school. Over the next few days, doctors were struggling to save me. It took me months to recover. The Taliban tried to silence me, but they failed. When I was 16, I spoke at the United Nations and also released an autobiography. In 2014, I became the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. A year later, I set up the Malala Fund, a charity to help female education projects across the world. In 2020, I graduated from Oxford and continue to fight for female education to this day. Good afternoon. My name is Lloyd Clee. I was born in Poland in 1867. My parents were teachers, and I love math and science. I love school so much that I went to a secret school where girls could learn too. I moved to France to get 2 degrees at the University of Paris. My husband and I won a Nobel Prize for discovering radiation using X-rays. I was the first woman to win this award and went on to win another for discovering the elements radium and polonium. I was the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in men and women. I invented a mobile X-ray machine during World War I and discovered that radiation can help cure cancer. Many years of working with radiation also made me sick and made all my notebooks radioactive and are still stored in special boxes to this day. Before my death, I became a celebrity for my research and being a woman in science. I toured the United States and even made stops in northern New York.
Good afternoon. My name is George Washington. I was born on February 22nd, 1732 in Pope's Creek, Virginia. I am best known for being an American general and commander-in-chief of the colonial armies. And in the American Revolution, 1775 to 83, and after the first president of the United States. As a teenager, I had shown an aptitude for mathematics and became a successful surveyor. Then in the Virginia wilderness, I earned enough money to begin acquiring land of my own. In 1751, I made my only trip outside of America and traveled to Barbados with my older half-brother Lawrence. Shortly after arrival, I contracted smallpox. I survived, although the illness left me with permanent facial scars. And when I was 22, I was an officer in the Virginia militia. I led an attack on the French, which was the French and Indian War. In 1759, I married Martha and raised her 2 kids as my own. After the Revolutionary War, I became President of the United States in 1789. I died on December 14, 1799, in Mount Vernon, Virginia. Did you know at the time of my death in 1799, I owned 123 enslaved people? However, before I died, I started to doubt whether or not I should. I didn't free them, but gave them to my wife. You can find me on a quarter and $1 bill.
Good afternoon. My name is George Herman Ruth Jr., but you probably know me as Babe Ruth. A couple of the nicknames I have are the Bambino and the Sultan of SWAT. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland on February 6, 1895. I was one of 8 children, but only my sister and I survived to adulthood. At the age of 19, At the age of 7, my parents sent me to the St. Mary's Industrial School for the Boys, which is where I developed my love and passion for the game of baseball. At the age of 19, I joined the minor leagues with the Orioles. I began playing with the Boston Red Sox. In 1920, I began playing as a full-time outfielder with the New York Yankees in 1930. I retired in 1930. While with the Yankees, I helped the team win 4 World Series championships and hit 60 home runs, which was a major league record. I retired in 1935, and I was one of the first players inducted into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. In 1936, I died on 1948, but I still remember today as one of the best baseball players in history.
Good afternoon. My name is Betty White. I was born July 17, 1922 in Oak Park, Illinois. I moved to Los Angeles, California when I was 2. That's where stars are born. I graduated in 1939 and started my class graduation play. Then I joined the American Women's Volunteer Service during World War II. In 1949, I got my big break in the TV business. In 1951, I made history and won an Emmy for Best Actress on TV. This was the first award for women on TV. In 1952, I produced Life with Elizabeth. This made me the first ever female producer. I was married 2 times, but in 1963, I married the love of my life, Alan Ludden. I acted in over 100 movies and TV shows. The most popular were Golden Girls and Mary Tyler Moore's Show. I was in animal rights activist. I loved animals, all animals. I volunteered at the LA Zoo for over 40 years. I created Vets Pets to help animal charity. Then, in the 1950s, I took a stand for racism and had a black performer on my show. I fought for LGBT rights and marriage equalities. I had the longest career of history of TV. I was known as the first lady of television. I died December 31st, 2021, 18 more days until my 100th birthday. I have no regrets, none. I consider myself as the luckiest old broad on 2 feet.
Hi, my name is Cleopatra. I was born in Egypt, but my family is actually from Greece. I became the Queen of Egypt at 18 years old and ruled for 21 years. I was the first ruler of ancient Egypt. And I am one of the most famous women in history. I know 9 different languages. I was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt. I identified with the Egyptian goddess Isis. In my time, it was common to marry your siblings. I married my brother Ptolemy XIII, who was 10 years old. My brother wanted to be the only ruler of Egypt, so he created a plan to ban me from Egypt. During that time, I met Julius Caesar, the ruler of the Roman Empire. We later fell in love and had a child named Ptolemy Caesar. My son became controller of Egypt at 3 years old. When Julius Caesar was killed by his own Roman senators in 44 BC, I met Mark Antony, a Roman politician. He got married in 32 BC and had 3 children. In 30 BC, my husband heard a rumor that I was dead and killed himself, but I was actually not dead. I then decided to take my life by poisonous snake bite, and Egypt fell under Roman domination. My greatest accomplishment was my influence on the way Western empires would be governed.
Fellow citizens of the United States, my name is Abraham Lincoln and I was the 16th president. I served as president on March 4th, 1861 until the day that I was assassinated and died on April 15th, 1865, the day before I signed the Secret Service to be created. Some call me Honest Abe on my reputation for honesty and fairness. I was born on my family's log cabin in Kentucky on February 12, 1809. My father Thomas remarried Sarah Johnson a few years after my mother Nancy died when I was 9 years old. Sarah coached me how to learn how to read, and that started a lifelong love of learning. Some don't know I also lived in Indiana before moving to Illinois in 1830, around the age of 22. I began working and I had many different jobs. I even wound up owning my own general store where I learned valuable social skills, shopping in my storytelling talent. I can't say I had much for formal education, maybe a few days a week or over a year or so. Taught myself law and started practicing after being admitted to the Illinois Bar. 1837. I married Mary, taught me how to go and sons together. I began my political journey in 1834, and I was in the Whig Party. However, I switched to newly made Republican Party in 1856. During my presidency, the Civil War started and ended. My delivery of the Emancipation Proclamation reshaped what the Civil War is being fought for. The Gettysburg Address was to help unite our nation to be one union again. A house divided cannot stand. I'm a president full of force, the force fielded. The force and only to hold the patent, and was the force being an inaugural photo. I'm still even the tallest president to have so about 6'4". Because of my height and my youth, I wrestled some 300 times and only lost once. This helped me get inducted to the West Hollywood Hall of Fame. In the end, it is not the huge in the eye that count, it's the life in yours.
Hello, my name is Martin Luther King Jr. and I was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. It was difficult to be a black person in America when I was born. I could not go to certain parks, eat in restaurants, or go to the same school as my best friend. I realized I wanted to make a difference when I was on the bus with my teacher and we were told to give up our seats so that white people could sit there. At first I refused, till my teacher reminded me of the whites before black rule. So I got up. I was the angriest I've ever been in my entire life and realized then to make a difference. I was athletic, clever, and a good speaker, so I decided to work hard and go to college. There I studied the Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi and started to see how I could help solve the problem of discrimination. I would use nonviolent methods like he did. I graduated from college at the top of my class and became a pastor at a church in Alabama. I married Coretta and started a family. It was around this time where I organized the famous Montgomery bus boycott, where we would refuse to ride buses until they were integrated, which means we would be treated equally and not have to give up our seats. And it was proven that keeping whites separate from blacks was against our Constitution. I went on to peacefully work towards the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. I won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. I am most known for my I Have a Dream speech. An interesting fact is much of it was improvised, which means I made it up as I went along. I was killed on April 4th, 1968. Please remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that.
Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Johnson. I was born on August 26, 1980, in Elizabeth Springs, West Virginia as Catholic. My mother was a teacher, my father was a lawyer. I attended all-black elementary school and middle school, finished both by the age of 10. In the county that I lived in, they did not have a public high school for African Americans. My family enrolled me on the campus of West Virginia State College. I graduated high school at the age of 14 and then enrolled in the same college. I took every course in math offered by the college. Earned a college degree in math and French by the age of 18 and then became an elementary teacher. In 1939, I left my job as a teacher and married James Grove. I have 3 daughters, James, and we lived in Newport News, Virginia. Sadly, James died of brain tumor in 1956. I was the first African-American woman to attend graduate school, West Virginia State College, University major in math. In 1953, I started working at the Langley Research Center, which was part of we know as NASA. This would be my most famous work. In 1959, I remarried James Johnson and became Catherine Johnson. When the United States didn't arrange to travel to space with Russia, there are very several white men that are given credit for space travel. You may know these names: John Glenn, Neil Armstrong, and Buzz Aldrin. My math calculations helped the first of all these trips these men were impossible. My math calculations helped put the first American walk on the moon, helped land the first Apollo 13 mission safely. When computers were taking over our jobs at NASA, John Glenn July him to feel safe. Before he would go to friendship to 7 missions, he said, "Get the girl. I proudly want to meet you, check all those men quickly." I worked at NASA for 33 years. I was never mentioned in history books until 2016, when the book Hidden Barriers was written about the African American woman who worked at NASA during the space race. I was honored the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama in 2015. I lived a long life, dying in 2020 at the age of 109.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexander the Great. I was born July 356 BC and died 323 BC. I was born in Pila, which is located in Greece. My teacher born here was Aristotle at the age of 16. My father died when I was 20 years of age. I took over born at that time. 1 year later, I already took control of a few Greek cities. My armies and I managed to conquest Persia, which brought me 10 years to take over Asia. My death was not certain, but I did get sick with fever. Other philosophers thought I got poisoned. Others thought I just had a disease. This brought me 15 years of battles, and This brought me 15 years of conquest, and I never lost a battle. I am known as being both a good and bad man.
Hi, my name is Mike Jack. My nickname is King Pop. I was born on August 29, 1958, Bulgarian. I have 8 siblings. When I was 5, they joined Brother Brothers, we became Jack 5. At age 11, I made my first national television album. By the end of the 70s, I pursued my own career with a new recording company. In 1997, 1978, I acted the film Lilith. At 25, I was recording a Pepsi commercial. My head caught fire. I was left with second-degree burns and had blood spots all over. In 1992, I was crowned king of Song by the African Academy. In 1997, I was inducted to the Rock and Hall of Fame as a member of the Jackson 5. In 2001, when I was inducted as a solo performer, I named my home Neverland. It's part home and part music, part the energy, railroad, and rides. I was married 2 times and had 3 kids. My appearance changed. My doctor said I had I was planning the 7th series of a concert to come back when I suddenly died in 2009. Good afternoon. My name is Amelia Earhart. I was born in Kansas on July 1897. I played basketball and I had a fixed car. This was unusual for girls like me when I was little. I took my first airplane ride when I was 23 years old. I loved flying so much I got my flying license and got my yellow airplane named the Canary. I was the first one to fly alone above 14,000 feet and the first one to fly alone across the Atlantic Ocean. I was also the first woman to fly alone across the United States and the first person to fly from Hawaii to the United States in 1935. In 1937, I tried to fly around the world. I flew 22,000 miles, but then lost contact with the U.S. Coast Guard. There was 2 weeks search for a man to be found. I was considered dead at sea.
June 12, 1929, in Frankfurt, Germany, to Edison Otto Frank. I was born into a Jewish family. I have one sister, Margaret, who is 3 years older. My parents decided to move to Amsterdam in 1933 as hatred for Jews gained more and more support under Hitler's party, Nazi Germany. From 1934 to 1941, I went to a Montessori school where I was able to learn the language and make new friends. In 1940, Nazi Germany invaded the Netherlands, imposing laws and regulations that made living a Jewish life difficult. In 1942, my family went into hiding in the annex building where my father had his business. On my 13th birthday, I was gifted a diary while in hiding. I wrote down all my thoughts and feelings. I even started a novel in my diary. On August 4th, 1944, our hiding place was discovered. I was transported to a concentration camp for women along with Margot and my mother. I died in February 1945, 16 years old, at a concentration camp due to horrible conditions, lack of food and water, and disease. My diary was published in 1947, and in 1960, the secret annex became a museum called the Anne Frank House.
Hello, I'm Thomas Jefferson, and I was born in Virginia in 1743. I was the third president of the United States. I am known for writing the Declaration of Independence in 1776, saying all men created equally so we could be free from England. I upheld liberty by passing the first law in America that let people worship who they choose. I started the Democratic Party and I built weight. And I felt my most great achievement was the founding of the University of Virginia. I spoke 6 languages, I played the violin, I sang and I loved to dance, and I built my own home on myself. You can still visit today. I spoke 6 languages, I sang and I loved to dance. I also learned I was a self-taught architect. And I built my own conference shelves to visit today. I invented a soldier, a pedometer, and a wax set that folded into a chair. I love the computer device and America's system of dollars and cents. And I also discovered that I couldn't live without books. Many people thought tomatoes were poisonous until I served the first tomatoes in America. And the first french fries in America. In fact, when I sent Will Clark to Florida West, they returned with plant and animal samples, including bears. I decided to keep the bears on the front lawn of the White House in cages. John Adams, the president before me, and I died only a few hours apart on July 4th, 1826. My name is Dina Roosevelt. A lot of people know me as Teddy. I was born on October 27th, 1858 in New York City. As I got older, I learned. I was sick as a boy and was home when I was a child. As I got older, I knew being African helped me get better. I graduated from Harvard in 1880. I was known as a historian, writer, and a lecturer. I created the national parks to Boston money to save national resources. I was a Republican. I led this
I was part of the Rough Riders, the school's volunteer cavalry. I led the cavalry that fight against the Spanish in Cuba. Before I was president, I would like to become governor of New York in 1898 of New York. I was the youngest person to become president. I became the 26th president after President McKinley was assassinated out of the age of 42. I had 5 children. I won the Peace Prize in 1906. I was famous for saying "Speak softly and carry a big stick." A toy maker decided to name a bear after I saved a bear cub. That's where the name Teddy Bear comes from. I died January 6, 1919. I was only 60 years old.
Hello, my name is Misty Copeland. I was born on September 10, 1982 in Kansas City, Missouri. I moved with my mom and siblings to Southern California when I was 2. Sometimes my family would have to make do with little money. In the yard, I taught myself how to do cartwheels and handstands. In middle school, I set a huge goal that changed my life. I wanted to earn a spot on the drill team, a type of dance group. When I auditioned, I became captain. Cindy Bradley would tap my leg as the girls and boys clapped had other plans for me. She saw my talent and made me do ballet. I was much older than most beginners. My ballet teacher offered me a full scholarship so I could learn even more. Only 2 months after taking ballet class, I went on point. That means on the tips of your toes. Though I love ballet, I had never seen a performance. I earned a summer invitation to the American Ballet Theater. 5 years later, I got the role of a lifetime as the Firebird. 3 years later, I was promoted to principal dancer at ABT. I was the first Black dancer to reach this position. I finally reached my dream.
Hello, my name is Leonardo. I was born in Juneau, Wisconsin on October 22nd, 1862. My mom died when I was 5, and my dad died when I was 10. For 6 months, I lived with my sister in Indiana. In June, I went to live with my aunt and uncle who were childless, left his farm to his second son, John D. Minor. My uncle, I lived with my aunt and uncle till I was 8. I believe that I was so successful because of my hard work as hard work outside as young man. In 1882, I went to Minneapolis to serve as development of children in the area. Chazy Central Rural School was built in 1960. There is now the William H. Weiner Cultural Institute and Chazy, which had research programs for dairy farms and horses. I died on April 3rd, 1930.
Hello everyone, my name is Leonardo Da Vinci. I was born in Florence, Italy, 1452. My father was a lawyer, my mother was a peasant. I lived with my father most of my life growing up. I am a huge animal lover. I love animals so much I go to the market to buy animals so I can set them free. Although I'm very smart, I never went to school. I was taught reading and writing at home. My two famous paintings are the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. I created two that people could float on water. I never was married, I never had children. I died on May 2nd, 1519 at the age of 67 years old.
Hello everyone, you might know me as the boy one, but my real name is Wayne Glutsky. It all started when I put on a pair of skates when I was only 2 years old. I don't mean to brag, but I stole the scoring record in Pee Wee hockey in Ontario for my 370 goals in one season. Things got even better when I turned 17 and got asked to play professional hockey. The Edmonton Oilers, Los Angeles Kings, and New York Rangers were the top 3 teams I played for. I hold some really great records, 61 to be exact. A few of my favorites are that I have 2,857 career point marks, and that I am the only player in NHL history who have captained 4 different teams, and that I am the only player who has passed the 200 point mark in a single season. I retired in 1999 and was inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame that same year. Something that I'm really proud of is that I was named Officer of the Order of Canada for being an outstanding role model to young people. I love to tell kids to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I'm not only talking about hockey. I hope they dream big, take chances, and try the best. Maybe someday they'll break a few of my records. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rosa. I was born on October 1913 in Alabama. My mother was a teacher and my family valued education. I left school in 11th grade so I could care for my 9 grandmother, and then my chronically ill brother in 1932, I married Raymond Park Barber and a long-time member of the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People. Supported me earning my high school diploma. I'm best known for the Montgomery bus point.
refused to move from my spot for a white pass. I was later arrested for avoiding Alabama's law. This helped inspire the Black community to not ride the bus for over a year. I was later honored as the First Lady of Civil Rights and Respect. In 1994, I was attacked in my own home by a man named Jefferson. I was too afraid to go back to my home to start my car. My house was taken up and resurrected and sent to Germany. Later, I died peacefully in my apartment at age 92. On October 24th, 2005.
Hello, my name is Misty Copeland. I was the first African American female pilot. First, a little about when I was young. I was born in Atlanta, Texas on January 26, 1892. My parents were both sharecroppers and I attended a secondary school, which means only African American children went there. In 1910, I attended university, but had to drop out because I did not have enough money to pay for school. When my brother came back from World War I, he sparked my dreams to become an aviatrix. He told me many flights and stories that women have experienced. I saved up money and applied to several flight schools in the United States, but was rejected from each one because I was African American and female. I met an African American newspaper publisher named Robert Apple. He gave me the idea to try schools in France. I saved up money and learned how to speak French and applied to some flight schools and enrolled in a flight school of France. I earned my international pilot's license on June 15th, 1921, and went on to study stuntflying. They would call me Queen Bess and Brave Bessie. I would do loops, barrel rolls, and figure eights for them in the sky. I would even walk out on the wings and parachute back down. I had a dream to open an African American and female aviation school. In 1926, I passed away in an airplane accident when a loose wrench got stuck in the engine controls of my plane. I paved the way to many African American and female pilots that have journeyed to the sky. Thank you, and remember, you haven't lived if you haven't flown.
Good afternoon. My name is Taylor Swift. I was born on December 13, 1989. I grew up on a Christmas tree farm. I loved riding horses as a kid. When I was 12, I wrote a 350-page novel. When I was 14, I moved to Nashville, where I performed a #1 song on the Country 8 chart. My debut album was certified platinum in 2007. I have opened for country artists such as George Strait, Kenny Chesney, Tim McGrath, Faith Hill, and Rascal Flatts. I write all of my music entirely by my side. I have sold over 200 million records worldwide and won 11 Grammy Awards. Speak Now, I wrote all of my music by myself. During COVID-19, I donated money to many of charities that helped people in need. I love to bake and share my baking with my friends and family. I have 3 cats and they are named Meredith Gray, Olivia Benson, and Benjamin Buttons. Over the past couple of years, I have been re-recording all of my music because my original copies were bought by someone else and they won't let me buy them back. So instead I'm re-recording them because I didn't owe them. When I'm doubting myself, I like to remember to just be yourself, there is no one better.
Hello, my name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You know me as Michael Jordan from the Chicago Bulls. I am a famous athlete that changed the game of basketball. I was born in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1963. I am 59 years old. I am 6 feet 6 inches tall. I went to college at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I played college basketball. I could slam dunk the basketball from the free throw line, which got me my nickname Air Jordan. I was drafted to the Chicago Bulls in 1984. I played with them until 1998. We won 6 championships at that time. I was so instrumental in making basketball so popular around the world. I am also famous for marketing many popular products. You may even own one. My Nike Air Jordan sneakers are still popular today. I retired for a few years and came back to play on the Washington Wizards team until 2001, until 2003. I retired for again in 2003. I now own the Charlotte Hornets. I am a billionaire worth around $2.1 billion. It has been said that I'm the greatest player of all time.
Hello, my name is Dolly Parton. I was born on January 19, 1926. I grew up in a poor family in Tennessee. Many of my family members enjoyed music. When I was young, I put a tin can on a stick and pretended it was a microphone, and forced my sisters and brothers to watch me sing on the porch. My biggest dream was to sing on the Grand Ole Opry. My best friend Judy Earle has been writing down my music for over 55 years. I have never been able to read music. When I was young, I would read anything I could find, but I hated school. My old coat was dirty, so my mom made me a new one with the brightest color she could find. When I went to school, everybody laughed at me. Years later, I made a song and a book about it. When I told my dad, he cried. I was the first to graduate in my family. After I graduated, I moved to Nashville. It was hard to find my dream, but I managed it with over 30,000 songs. At the age of 23, my biggest dream came true, to sing on the cast the Grand Ole Opry. In 1973, I had my first big hit named Jolene. In 1 year, I had 5 albums that finally brought me lots of money. With all the money, I bought my parents a house and a car. Today, I run a large company called Dolly Parton Enterprises. But my proudest of all my businesses is my theme park named Dollywood. I'm also very proud of Dolly Parton's Imaginary Library that mails free, high-quality books from age birth to 5, no matter what family's income is. Hi, my name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also known as RBG. I was born on March 15, 1933 in Brooklyn, New York. My husband's name is Martin. I have 2 children, Gina and James. I went to 3 different colleges. Harvard was one of the 9 women out of 500 students. was a big deal for me to go to the colleges and get on the Supreme Court. I grew up in a town when could not go to certain schools or get certain jobs. This made me want to fight for women's rights and gender equality. There were 6 cases in front of the Supreme Court and won 5 of them.
Hello, my name is Jane Goodall. I celebrated my 88th birthday on April 3rd and was born in Hampstead, London, United Kingdom. Some people address me as Dr. Goodall, as I earned my PhD in 1965. Now, you may be thinking, what is my job? Well, to answer that question, I have to say this. I have many different jobs. However, my main job as a primatologist is to study the behavior, biology, evolution, and taxonomy of non-human primates, such as monkeys, apes, and chimpanzees. When I was little, I dreamed of going to Africa. Well, when I became older, my dream came true. In 1956, I helped make this happen by saving money from working at a restaurant as a waitress so I could visit a friend who lived in Africa. I was 22 years old when I quit my job to sail to Kenya, which is where scientists believe the first humans may have lived. I loved Africa so much that, long story short, in 1960, I moved to the Gombe Stream Chimpanzee Reserve with my mother. Moved to this wildlife park in East Africa to better understand, study, and learn more about chimpanzees. Unlike most researchers and scientists, I gave the chimpanzees that I observed names instead of numbers. Baron Hugo Van Laag, a photographer and filmmaker, came to Africa to take pictures of me with the chimpanzees. We ended up falling in love, married later on in 1964, and had a son together named Hugo, although we divorced in 1974. In 1977, I founded the Jane Goodall Institute. Sadly, in 1980, my husband died of cancer. But even though I was very sad, my work helped me feel better. I also started the Roots and Shoots organization in 1991, which helps students protect animals and make the world a better place to live in. Additionally, I was named the Messenger of Peace by the United Nations in 2002. Over the years, I have written many magazine articles, books, and appeared in various movies and TV programs, as well as going to several colleges and universities as a visiting team. Today, I'm going to leave you with one of my special quotes. Each and every one of us makes a difference each and every day. And we have a choice. What kind of difference are we going to make?
Hello, my name is Kate Otto, and also known as Otto Pendragon. I lived in the 400s to 500s, which was a very long time ago. As a baby, I was given to a wizard called Merlin. Merlin built a round table for my dad where 150 knights could sit at. When my dad died, Merlin said whoever could pull the sword from the stone would be king. All the knights tried, but they failed. I was looking for a sword to replace my brother's broken one, and I found the stone and pulled the sword out by accident and became king. When I was king, I got the Saxons and took care of Britain. My famous quest was for the mythical Holy Grail of the cup that Jesus drank from. I got married, but she wasn't nice to me. She fell in love with Sir Lancelot. I got mad and followed him to France. When I got back, there was a big war. A lot of my knights died and I got hurt a lot. I threw the sword back into the lake and hopped on a boat to go to the mythical Isle of Avalon. I hope to come back and meet my people again. They like to call me the once and future king. Whether you believe in me or not, I am still permanent on theater, film, comics, and TV.
Hello, my name is Elvis Presley. I was born January 8, 1935
in Tupelo, Mississippi. At the young age, I entered talent shows where I started singing. My mom gave me my first guitar when I was 11. In 1953, I recorded my first song with Sun Records. In 1955, I released my first album called Elvis Presley. It was such a huge hit, it reached #1 in the charts. I had a unique style of music that was all my own. It was a combination of country and gospel music. I was asked to star in movies also. For 20 years, I continued to make hit songs and star in over 30 movies. I bought an 18-room mansion for me and my family called Graceland. In 1977, I died of a heart attack when I was 42 years old. I'll always be known for the king of rock and roll. A little less fight, a little more sport. Close your mouth and open your heart.
Hi, my name is Ruby Bridges. I was born in Tylertown, Mississippi on September 8, 1954. When I was 4, my family moved from Mississippi to New Orleans, Louisiana. In kindergarten, my school was segregated. That means all the kids in my school were dark skinned like me. All the kids with light skin went to a different school than me. Sending kids to different schools because their skin color was illegal. But not for me. I was a good student and I took a test that I passed. William France Elementary School was the name of my new school where all the kids with light skin attended. My dad was nervous, but my mom was brave. I was the first one to do this in the South. On my first day at my new school, people chanted 2, 4, 6, 8, we don't want to integrate. Lots of people were angry about me coming to their school. I even tried to block the entrance, but my mom and U.S. Marshals helped me feel safe. 1 second, my teacher was very kind too. Her name was Miss Henry. She was the only teacher that wanted to teach me. The other kids' parents wouldn't let their kids share a classroom with me either. Miss Henry and I never missed a day of school. When second grade started, things were much different. I had a classroom with kids in it. Entering school wasn't as scary. As I got older, I wanted to help teach tolerance to students. I continued speaking. I created the Ruby Bridges Foundation in 1999 to help teach tolerance to students. I continue to speak and write about human rights and be a symbol of the U.S. Civil Rights Movement.
Good afternoon, my name is William Gates, but you can call me Bill. I am a computer programmer and tycoon. I own the world's largest company. I have 3 children. I was born October 1955 in Washington State. When I was 13 years old, I designed my first software program, what was like tic-tac-toe. I wrote a payroll program for a company. I started a computer system to count traffic. Then I did scheduling program for my school. I scored 1,590 out of 1,600 on the SAT test. When I graduated high school, I went to Harvard College, then dropped out. In 1994, my wife and I started the GATES program to help global health and poor people study work. In 2000, this charity is the second largest in the world. I was awarded an honorary knighthood by Queen Elizabeth. In 2007, I stepped down from running company to do charity work. In 2016, I was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. As of 2022, I'm worth $163 billion.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I'm Barack Obama. Many of you know me as being the 41st President of the United States. I'm also the first African American president. I served 2 terms in the White House, 2009 to 2017. I would like to say a few things about me and my journey to becoming president. I was born on August 4th, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. My parents are Ann Durham, Barack Obama Sr. I've been married to my wife Michelle since 1992. We have 2 daughters together, Malia and Sasha. I went to Harvard to get my law degree, graduated in 1991. From there, I became a lawyer for a civil rights law firm. I started my political career in 1996. I ran for the Illinois State Senate. My goals were to help children, elderly people, and the poor and labor union. 2004, I got elected for the United States Senate. 2008, I decided to run for president. That's when I won against Hillary Clinton. My goals were to bring the troops home, work on gun control, immigration reform, climate change. In 2009, I was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for the most extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacies, in cooperation between people. Basically, I want to help countries and people get along. Being a 41st president has truly been amazing. Thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope you all have a great day.
Hello, my name is Oscar Ferdinand Meyer. I was born in Germany, March 29, 1859. I emigrated to America when I was 14 years old. I began working at a meat market in Detroit and later moved to Chicago. When I was 24 years old, at my brother's Max Gottfried and I leased the Coley Meat Market in Chicago. After some success, I purchased a 2-story building on my own. I then married my wife Louise. We had 4 children in total. By 1900, my company had over 43 employees. In 1904, my company started using its own brands of meat. We were also one of the first participants in the Food Safety and Inspection Service. By the time of my death, my company had over 9,000 employees in several locations. On March 11, 1955, I died in my sleep after having been ill for 6 weeks. I was surrounded by my son and 3 daughters. Today, my company has expanded across the globe. I'm famous for bringing bologna, which have been around for millennia in Italy, to America.
I was born on May 7, 1998 in Kansas. I'm one of the most well-liked American YouTubers and a businessman. I make videos for money to do charities such as St. Jude's Children's Hospital and the Wounded Warrior Project. I'm also involved in Team Trees to help plant new trees and Team Seeds to clean up the earth. I started a virtual restaurant. We gave out free food and money during the pandemic, which became very popular. I have 94 million subscribers and I enjoy helping people out.
I am Thomas Edison, and I was born on February 11, 1847 in Milan, Ohio. When I was a kid, there was no electric light to see by, no recorded music to listen to, and no movies to watch. When I was 12, I set up a printing press and made my own newspaper to sell on the train. When I turned 21, I invented the electric voting machine. Over the next 60 years, I will receive 1,093 patents. The next year, I invented the universal stock printer. I sold the invention for $30,000, which is more than $1 million today. When I was 30, I invented the world's first Chronograph. It is a device that records sound and played on back so they could be heard again. My most famous invention was the electric light bulb. The first one lasted 4 days. The hardest part to make was the filament. It took over 3,000 tests and 2 years to find the right filament. I went on to invent many other things in my last 15 years. I enjoyed camping with Henry Ford and passed away in October 1931 at the age of 84. The president had everyone in America turn off their lights for 1 minute to honor me.
Can I get a round of applause for our second graders today? So I know one of the things you're thinking of, especially, so second graders, I want you to know this. So for all your parents and grandparents here, most of them don't remember what they had for breakfast. Okay? So the fact that they watched you, many of you memorized all those sentences and lines, they're very proud of you for what you did. That was really impressive. I want to thank just a few people, Miss O'Hagan, Mrs. Woods, Mrs. Levine, Mrs. Kate Langloy, and of course, a round of applause for Mrs. Langloy and Miss Carrier as well, too. I also want to thank Calvin for being here today. Mrs. Martin is going to send home today or tomorrow some forms, so if you'd like to buy a DVD of this, you can do that. What makes this so special is one, because you're all here. And to all you parents and grandparents who are here, I've always said this, how important it is that you're here for these moments. Because, as you saw some of them, they picked you out right away. And so it shows how important you are in their lives. Because as Mrs. Langloy can vouch for, when you have a 16-year-old daughter, then all of a sudden you're not as important in your lives as they are right now. But it really is, I'm really thankful that you are all here. And you think about it, some of you may have had children do this before, and I bet you can tell me right now who they had in their wax museum. I can remember my own children's wax museum character. Maybe some of you are young enough to have actually done this before, but I thank you all for coming. It is a special time, and we always have to be thankful that we have these days back again that were gone for so long. And so I'm thankful to see all of you here, and thankful to see these kids on stage with happy, smiling faces. And so thanks for coming today. And if you'd like to take your child right now, you can do that, and also come on up and maybe take some pictures. All right, well, thank you so much for coming.
Maybe go next time. Gotta get you in the picture too. Come on, sweetie. Just a quick picture. And I have the rest of you're right in front of Lily. Right in front of Lily.